At the family meeting, my son said, "Oh, there is no longer a place for you in our lives." Everyone nodded. I silently picked up my purse, walked out, and made the call that froze the entire family's finances in a single morning. That sentence didn't fall into the room. It landed straight in my chest. "Mom, there is no longer a place for you in our lives." My son's voice did not tremble. Everyone nodded as if this had already been decided. I looked at the papers placed at the edge of the table, the coffee stains, someone's phone screen, and that moment where I could have broken, but didn't scatter. The meeting was in an ordinary house in Dayton, Ohio. Outside, the cold January wind whistled through the window frames. I wasn't wearing my coat, it was cold inside too. Across from me sat my son, Mark. Beside him was his wife, Emily, with that tight smile people only wear in meetings. In the corner sat my daughter Leah, eyes lowered, as if there was something fascinating woven into the carpet. The wall clock ticked. Every second was a memory. I didn't say anything. I picked up my purse, opened the door, walked down the steps. The air cut across my face. That's when it hit me, how many times I had raised my credit card balance for this family. How many times, living paycheck to paycheck, I paid the kids' fees first and delayed my own health insurance. How many nights I told myself a peanut butter sandwich was a light dinner, as if saying it out loud made it true. I got into my car, turned on the heater, and made that call. I knew the number by heart. Years ago, when Mark started his business, I had helped open accounts at a local credit union. I was the co-signer. I never bragged about it. I just did the work. The phone was picked up. The voice on the other end was familiar, Karen, who always said, "How can I help you today?" like she genuinely could. I said it plainly. "I want to place a fraud alert and a temporary hold on the joint accounts. Right now." Karen asked her questions. I answered them. Papers shuffled on her end. I looked out the car window. Tiny pieces of snow glittered on the road. "Is this hold legal?" she asked carefully. "Absolutely," I said. "I'm the co-signer." I didn't go back home. I drove straight to a Waffle House. Hot coffee, the smell of eggs, and that counter where people leave pieces of their lives without meaning to. I ordered hash browns. My hands were shaking, but my head was clear. I thought about the way Mark lied, never meeting your eyes, one hand always shoved into his pocket. Emily's habit, answering every question with another question. Leah's silence, the same strategy in every argument. My phone started buzzing. First Mark. "Mom, what did you do?" Then Emily. "This is wrong. We can talk about this." I didn't reply. I paid the bill, left a tip, and walked out. The snow had thickened. I drove past Dayton Mall, the same mall where I once bought my kids' shoes on installment plans. Past Riverscape Park, where we used to eat ice cream in the summer, pretending everything was simple. The next morning, my phone rang early. The business accounts were frozen. Suppliers were angry. Payroll was stuck. There was nothing dramatic about it. No shouting. No background music. It was paperwork. It was legal. It was as hard and real as winter concrete. I didn't hire a lawyer. I only did what I had always done, protected my name. By noon, the house was quiet. Leah came over. Her eyes were red. "Mom, we didn't know," she started. I looked at her and said, "You knew." It was just easier not to look. We sat in a small diner not far from Main Street, old booths, chipped mugs, a waitress who calls everyone honey and actually remembers names. Leah ordered a grilled cheese. I had soup. Outside, the snow was melting into gray slush. I told her everything I had never said out loud. How I counted credit card interest year after year. How health insurance copers kept me away from the doctor. How I put my savings on the line for Mark's business because that's what mothers do when they still believe love will be returned fairly. For the first time, Leah didn't interrupt. She just listened. That evening, Mark came alone. No Emily. No confident posture. His hands were empty. "We were wrong," he said. His voice was quieter now. I said, "There's a difference between a mistake and a habit." I laid out my terms slowly, clearly. Transparency. Separate accounts. A written repayment plan. Respect. He nodded, but this time without certainty. I looked him straight in the eye and said, "I am your mother. Not your ATM. Weeks passed. Paperwork followed. Repayment started. Small, steady, real. I reinstated my health insurance. I took a part-time job at the public library, where silence feels like medicine. My paycheck was still limited, but it was mine. Leah began coming by again, slowly, cautiously. On Sundays, we made soup together. There was less laughter, but more truth. People like to imagine justice as something loud. A courtroom. Applause. Vindication. This wasn't that. It was quiet. It was boring. It was earned inch by inch. It looked like boundaries instead of revenge. It felt like sleep without anxiety. One morning, I walked through the park. The air was cold but gentle. I sat on a bench and watched the sun break through thin clouds. Justice hadn't fallen from the sky. No one clapped. No one made a speech. It was simply this: I chose myself. I had been broken. But I was not scattered. And sometimes, that is more than enough.